Here with EFC Women's Flyweight Champion Amanda Lino. Amanda, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So I think for those that don't know, just tell us a bit about your school career and your younger days as Amanda Lino.
Look, I've been telling the story of me going through a bad patch in my life, and I obviously got myself into a little bit of trouble getting into fights, and that would led me to obviously get into MMA. Fitness purpose as well, I picked up a little bit of weight, I wanted to lose it, challenging myself with something different, so I was drawn to MMA at the time because my brother and my friends were doing it. However, as a female, my mom, we sat down the other day and she told me the story about how I was always pushing limits, and even when I was in school days. So it basically started, and it triggered a couple of stories for me when I used to play rugby and be on the cricket field with all the guys, because back then we didn't have girls cricket teams and we didn't have girls rugby teams. So every day I spent in my dress running around with the boys playing rugby and playing cricket. And I used to bug the coach all the time, and I'd be like, come on, I want to start a female team. And eventually he got so sick of me being in the guys' face all the time playing rugby with them. He was like, okay, I'm going to give you the opportunity to start a female team. So anyway, I ended up, fast forwarding, we ended up starting a girls cricket team and a girls rugby team. And I think from a very young age, I've always been, I haven't really excluded myself from, boys sports and girls sports. And, I was always wanting to push myself and challenge myself, and teachers would always say, you're a girl, you can't be playing rugby and cricket, but I was always like, I'm not going to see any limits, I want to push myself and play those sports. And I think that kind of transcended into my MMA days when they were like, MMA is for males and it's a male dominated sport, and I was like, but it doesn't have to be. To me, it's not. So I think from a young age, I've always pushed the limits, and it obviously transcended into my later stages in life, which now led to MMA, being the first female champion. I've always wanted to push the boundaries, and it's, I've carried that through my whole life. And being the first female champion, it obviously was something that I always wanted to do, and I didn't see any limits, and no one could ever tell me you can't do something. And I'm here to prove that I can do just as much as the boys can do, and the men, I suppose, now.
And do you feel like there's been some vindication since you've won that belt to show that kind of female MMA is on the same level as what male MMA is at the moment?
Yeah, I think, there's always going to be those people that, they have their opinion, and they're welcome to have their opinions. Some people are going to say that women don't belong in the cage, and by all means they can think that. But I just make sure that every time I step into the cage, I prove that women are just as tough, and they belong in the cage just as much as everyone else does. So, that's what I'm here to prove, and I think I've done a good job of proving it.
So everyone obviously sees you in the cage. We see the fighter persona, we see the mad dog, but tell us about what you do when you're not training, fighting, all of those things.
Yeah, look, I think we all have our different personalities, and that's purely my mad dog persona that comes out on fight night. Myself and Rod run a gym, KO Fitness in Belito, so a lot of my time is spent in the gym. MMA is not a hobby, it's my lifestyle. So I spend a lot of time training with Rodney and training up new upcoming fighters, hoping to get another female fighter in the gym, and just enjoying my lifestyle overall as an MMA fighter and a personal trainer on a day-to-day basis.
And give us your best moments so far in your MMA journey.
I've had a lot of best moments, and for me, I can tell you best moments in the cage and then outside of the cage, because as much as it's awesome reaching your goals, the journey up to it is the most enjoyable part. And I think it took me a long time to realize, that you have to enjoy every moment. And the team that I have behind me, my coaches Dallas and Rodney are phenomenal. And, the boys that are behind me, some of them take off work to go through camp with me. So the journey itself is the most memorable part. And I think even though it's the toughest part of your camp, it's the most meaningful for me, because to know that those people are around you to help you reach a goal. We often say that MMA is also a team sport. Even though I get into the cage on my own, it is a team sport, and we all put in hard hours towards it. But definitely the armbar moment, winning by armbar, didn't expect it. I was definitely, I more so going with ground and pound, but when that arm came and that opportunity was there, there's no words to explain. So that's definitely, it has to be one of my biggest and proudest moments, by ending by submission.
And then everyone knows your EFC journey, everyone knows what you've done there and seen you win the belt, but not many people know that you actually competed at the Amateur World Champs as well. Tell us what that experience was like.
as an amateur, you don't really train, every day. You train like maybe every second day. So it wasn't really a career basis at the stage. It was something that we did because we loved it. So it was part time. And then you get taken out of your country with no team behind you. On your own. In a country where the sport is developed. I mean, in South Africa at the time, yes, it's grown hugely now. But at that time when I went over, it was tiny. We didn't even have the professional female circuit at the time. So it was eye-opening. It was a hell of a scary experience, but it was something that I think was a moment that changed for me. Transitioning from, is this something that I want to do as a hobby as opposed to something I want to make a career out of? And it was, great to see so many different kind of fighters over there. It opens up your eyes going over there.
And then just some quick fire questions just to get to know Amanda a little bit better. So I'm going to fire about 5 or 6, just answer the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Favorite restaurant?
Mama G's.
Favorite meal?
Oh, spaghetti bolognese. I'm not allowed to eat it often, but it is my favorite.
Favorite car?
Oh man, I love Bucky. So the old Corsa Bucky is actually one of my favorites. Yeah.
Favorite song?
Favorite song is my walkout song, Eminem, Survival. Yeah.
You collected something pretty special yesterday at EFC. Let's have a look.
Look how beautiful that is.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.